Hey everyone, welcome back to Max Solo Music. My name is Max, and in this video we'll take a look at two portable guitar combo amplifiers by Vox. Vox Mini Go 3 and Mini Go 10. We'll also try to figure out what is the difference between these two and why would you want to go with one or another. According to the official website, you can take them anywhere you go, and yes, they do have a certain degree of portability. They can as well be powered by a mobile battery. These are digital amps, they have multiple amp models, as well as effects and a few other things, like for instance built-in looper for Vox Mini Go 10 and 50. Yes, there are three Mini Go models, 3, 10 and 50, which stands for 3 watts, 10 watts and 50 watts. And in this video we're looking at these two, the 3 and the 10, because I don't have the 50 in my lab yet. Speaking of the price, in the United States you can get the Mini Go 3 for $199 and Mini Go 10 for $279. And if you're in Europe, that'll be 168 euros for the Mini Go 3 and 219 for Mini Go 10 as of January 30th, 2022. As always, all the links below, and by using them you can greatly support the channel at no additional costs to you. When I opened the box, I found two more things inside with each of the amps, a strap, and an adapter. This is a 12 volt, I believe. Yeah, 12 volts, 1 amp, center positive, so don't use these for your pedals unless they specifically require that kind of power. None of these amps have a handle to carry them, and this is where the strap comes in handy. Okay, this might be a little too short if you want to put it on your shoulder, but let me try. Nah, not gonna happen. But if you just want to carry it like this, yeah, that's doable. Look at those strap buttons. I can imagine that a regular guitar strap might be a better fit. Yes, done. Oh yeah, that's much better. I can even imagine using strap locks instead of the original strap buttons here. Yeah, you can totally wear it like so while having your guitar on the front, and it's not heavy. How heavy are they, you may ask? And as always, I have answers. Mini Go 3 is 3.6 kilos or 8 pounds, and the Mini Go 10 is 4.5 kilos or 10 pounds. Yeah, the Mini Go 3 seems a bit more portable to me, because that's pretty much the weight of an average guitar. Speaking of the size, the official website says the Mini Go 3 has a 5-inch speaker, but it looks more like a 4-inch speaker to me. And the dimensions of the amp are the following. Here's the width, the height, and the depth. The same thing for the Mini Go 10. It's not a 6.5-inch speaker, more like 5.5. And here are the dimensions, the height and the depth. Is there anything I can compare it to? Well, I could put my guitar on it. This is the Mini Go 10, and you see it's almost completely covered by what seems to be an average Super Strat looking guitar. And if I did that with a Mini Go 3, well, you wouldn't see much. So they are really not big at all. Now let's take a close look at both amps. You have already seen the front, and here's the back. You can see that these are open back enclosures. The Mini Go 3 has a power supply input and a 5 volts input, because it can be powered by a mobile battery. The same for the Mini Go 10. Additionally, it has a Footswitch input. I have a Footswitch, I'll show it to you later, and a handle that is not here to carry the amp, but to protect the connectors. There is a little bit of a difference on the bottom, because the Mini Go 10 has extensions, because of which it can be installed like so at an angle. The Mini Go 3 cannot do that. There is nothing on the sides except strap buttons, and finally on the top side we have controls, which are almost identical except of this part, because the Mini Go 10 has a built-in looper. So what do we have here? A guitar input, a microphone input, And I kind of have a problem with this one because most microphones come with an XLR cable, with an XLR connector, not with a jack connector. So this really must have been a combo XLR jack connector and not this. So not every microphone will be compatible initially with this amp unless you have an adapter. These two knobs control how the mic is mixed to the overall sound. So this is going to be a volume, and this is going to be the effects send. There are 9 different amp models, and they get more aggressive the further you go clockwise. There's a vocoder and a line input, which means you can plug anything into the input and just make it louder without it going through the amp modeling section. Here we have gain and tone. These two controls also work as high and low controls in the line mode, and the master volume. This entire section is for the effects, of which we have 8. Modulation effects are on the upper knob, and time-based effects like delays and reverbs are on the lower knob. So these two can be used at the same time, but only one modulation and one time-based effect at a time. And the button is here to set the length of the delay. The rhythm section lets you pick one of the pre-programmed drum patterns. Each bank has 3 variations, which you can select between using this button. Set the tempo and also start and stop the beat. And of course make it louder or quieter. These two controls are independent. Holding this button for a couple of seconds will enable the tuner. Other than that, we have an auxiliary input for your backing tracks, headphones output with the cabinet simulation of course, and the power button. And as I've already mentioned before, the Mini Go 10 also has a built-in looper with an independent volume control and a start, rec, play, dub button. In the case for the Mini Go 10, some of these functions can be controlled by a Footswitch. It has 3 buttons, looks like this, and it does not come with an amp, but can be purchased separately. The Mini Go 3 cannot be used with a Footswitch. I have already played with both of these amps a little bit, and I should say they're great for practicing at home. They sound convincing enough at a lower volume, and built-in drum patterns and click makes them really convenient in combination with this weight and size. Do these two amps sound any different? Yeah, as a matter of fact they do, and it's kinda hard to capture what they sound like in the room. But I'll try. I'll be using a Lewitt LCT 441 Flex mic, which is a condenser microphone with a flat response, so it doesn't color the sound as much as dynamic microphones do. I'll put it in front of the amp at some distance, a little bit on the side, such as the amp doesn't blow directly into the mic. At the end of the video, I'll demonstrate the difference between two amps, but right now let's use the Mini Go 10 and go through all the sounds and effects, starting with the Deluxe Clean. The Boutique Clean sounded kind of brighter and a little bit more compressed to me. Next, the overdrive version of probably the same amp. Vox AC30 Clean. And of course the top boost. Brit 800, a bright amp with a lot of gain. This one sounded a little bit more mids oriented to me than the previous one. This one is supposed to be a Soldano emulation, and this is another amp with a lot of gain. Double rec, that probably stands for rectifier, almost the same as the previous one, but more scooped, less mids, more lows and highs. And here's the funny one, the vocoder. I don't know if it actually works with the mic, I didn't try that. And here's the line in. What comes in, comes out. No emulation or anything. Each effects knob has 4 segments, one per effect. The higher you go, the more intense it becomes. On the modulation knob we've got chorus, phaser, tremolo and octave effects. On the second knob we've got analog delay, digital delay, spring reverb and hall. let's check some of those drum patterns. Another feature that Mini Go 10 has that Mini Go 3 doesn't is the attenuator, so you can make the amp sound very quiet and practice in the middle of the night without disturbing anyone. Here's how it works. And of course, the looper. When you press the button for the first time, the amp goes into the standby mode, and when you play your first note on the guitar, the recordings will start automatically. However, it is much more fun with a Footswitch. By default, the first button turns on and off the time-based effect, the second button starts or stops the rhythm, and the third button is your looper control. There is a way to reprogram the switch and assign some other functions to these buttons. And finally, let's compare these two. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in one of my next videos someday soon. Goodbye, everybody.